Hi, this is Julie, and I'm going to lead. I usually say Julie from Love's Beginning, but I'm going to lead with the fact that I forgot my blog name, and all I could think of was Love's Remembrance. So I thought that was a nice mini lesson right there that there really is no beginning and ending to love, but there's an apparent beginning of remembering that love is everything, and love is what we can refer to handle everything. So that was just a funny memory blip. And I'm told all the time that when people forget things, it's divine. What we don't need is being taken away from us, and we're expanding. So if you look at people with dementia, for example, they're expanding and we don't know what to do with it because we're expanding too. Um, or we might be actively fighting the expanding if we're judging what's going on with them. And of course, it's easy to judge what's going on with them because it looks like they're not functional, but they're actually our invitation to expand and to let go and to let the love we are handle everything, including our interaction and our support of them in what appears to be this physical world. So I didn't know I was going to go there. Um, but the topic that came to me today was allowing your physical eye or your physical senses to be kind of taken over by you, though, by the true you, not by the false you, as you realize that everything experienced with the five senses is the outpicturing of thought. So it is the result of previous thought. And before we go anywhere with that, it's everybody's thought. Okay, everybody's thought all together, this big pool of thought we have going on. So everything we're collectively experiencing is the outpicturing of all the thoughts. As you let all your thoughts be healed and you let the true be sorted out from the false, and you let your true, whole, and harmonious self indicate to you what thoughts are true and what thoughts are not through the simplest technology in the world, the technology of feeling. So we're operating under a belief that we're our false self, a self that could die, that's attached to this body. We're thinking we are the body. But obviously, we're starting to release that thought because we can talk about it easily now. I am entirely distracted by what my physical eye is showing me now, and it just might be a bad camera. But it's always looked like this to me, but it looks like this so much now, like shimmering little rainbow particles. Um, and after I had big awakening experiences, I had a couple that I would call big. By the way, you don't need a single one of those. It comes to us all very differently. It could be very, very ordinary for you, or it could be extremely dramatic and technicolor for somebody else. So don't worry about it either way. But I'm seeing these dancing particles, and I used to, be looking off and into the distance and kind of googling and marveling at what I called the dancing energy. So I'm seeing it right back here. Um, it could just be a camera thing, but I love to see the representation that everything's dancing all the time and scintillating, vibrating. And so like this isn't really this. It's it's just a thought, just an experience we're giving ourselves through thought, including the solidity of things, including what we call gravity. Everything is an experience we're giving ourselves through thought. So when I have the perception that I see the energy dancing, um, whether it's due to a very simple camera or not, it tickles me. So if you can see the wiggliness of this too, um, it's it's a representation to us that it is, what do I want to say? It's not real. It's an experience we're giving to ourselves. And The real thing is what connects everything. That's the only real thing. Whenever we're afraid, we are believing something, some part of this illusion is real and therefore more powerful than we are. But the feeling of fear, that stark cold contraction, is our very simple technology. It's our indicator that we're seeing backwards. That what we are and what connects us is the most powerful thing. And what we are observing within an illusion due to thought is nothing. It's nothing at all. But on our journey back home to remembering who we all are and how we're connected, what we can do is intentionally turn the five sense experience over to what we are, which is all of us, the thing that connects all of us, which is love. Love is used in so many ways. We kind of have to redefine it in different ways so we can see what it is and what it isn't. And love is not what can be given to another or taken away from another. It's not that at all. So all our ideas of romance are kind of a worship of, I gotta be careful here, of the ego. I don't want to I enjoy reading romances, and I've always enjoyed the happily ever after. It's like I always knew there was a happily ever after, no matter what the world was telling me. And so those books are, almost always a guaranteed happily ever after. In fact, in the industry, it says guaranteed HEA. And that's not a fantasy. That's the reality. That's what we're heading toward. If we choose something else along the way, if we choose to be very convinced for a time that we are shit and everything's going to shit and we're at war with one another and it's going to have inevitably disastrous results, I thought that way for quite a while. So what I'm told about that is if we choose to believe that there are timelines and experiences for us to have, there are all these extensions and experiences out in time for us to do that. And we're not, it's like I would always get told, no animals were harmed in the making of this film. The harm is not real. So what we're doing through thought has never hurt anybody, but it's a very realistic experience that we're giving to ourselves. So if we see others seeming to choose options of, I'm going to go keep making war, and I'm going to go keep being convinced that everybody else is at fault for the wars we're experiencing, that's okay. It's just an indicator to you that you have the potential to heal your mind. And there's no, what do I want to say? The sooner you see this and the sooner you take advantage of the help available to you, the less of time there needs to be. So there is an urgency about it. There is like an opportunity right now, quality about it. However, we can't put stress and pressure into the mix because stress and pressure belong to fear. It's more about seeing the beautiful opportunity you have right now to shorten time for everybody. Because when you allow your mind to be healed by seeing that what we're experiencing here is the outpicturing of thought, then all those minds get healed too. And they won't even know how it happens. They'll just wake up feeling better. Or some of them will. Some of them might have the big awakening experiences. They'll just start to have different preferences. They'll lose interest in all the conflict and judgment that was really interesting before. It'll just become boring. So in some cases, people won't realize what's happening, but they're just naturally following their inclinations, except those inclinations are transformed. And it's not about changing people. It's just well, an elementary level, because that's the level we're working at here. Um, that's the level we chose in choosing this kind of dense, conflicted experiences. So the knowing and remembrance has to come to us in that form, like a child's story. So it seems that we're healing all these other people if we accept healing for ourselves, but it's not true because there's only one of us. And it's not true because they're playing the exact right, specific divine roles that'll spur us and encourage us into our own healing. Um, so never, never forget the beautiful and powerful light being behind the person, even if the person has no idea. The person is the role, the person is the mask. So we look through it, we look through it, we look through it. And what I'm encouraged to see in my daily life is, or to remember, is to not allow the illusion. I'm hearing laughter here because this is very active for me. I'm working on this. Okay, it's the difference between being reactive and responsive. So, not to allow the illusion to dictate my next move. So, whatever I'm experiencing is the outpicturing of thought, past thought, and the past is over, and it's not real. Um, and this whole show has already been cleaned up. Like what we're experiencing right now is the past. The solution that we've been seeking has already been implemented. Time is already over. That's a hard one for us to get, but it's over. It's over. We just seem to be traveling through the experience. And on the way out, um, we're going to remember what we've been up to, and it will seem to greatly help everybody else, and it will seem to transform our surroundings. So, um, I'm encouraged not to allow the illusion to dictate my next actions. But where do my next actions come from? From the surety of the remembrance of the one of us. And you could call that God. If you have like kicking and screaming reactions to the God word, then don't use it. Doesn't matter what word you use. There is only one of us. And that's the way to realize, metaphor I'm going to give you here. Okay, I'm not insisting on this as a reality, but we've all been playing a virtual reality game. We've all had our goggles on, and we have not recognized the beautiful beings of light playing this game. We're only looking at the characters we've invented, the characters we've insisted upon. If you think about choosing the, I don't know, is that called an avatar? I don't know the language, but when you choose that, like a body, and sometimes you get to choose the characteristics of the body. Think of characteristics you don't like about your current body, but think of you intentionally choosing those as you came into the game, because the game can be turned over to the one of us to wake us all up to what we're doing and to assist us in easing up and out of it and allowing the appearance of the game and the happenings in the game to transform around us. That doesn't come from scrambling and struggling and pushing and pulling on the surface of the game, thinking that our characters are doing that work. That doesn't come from that. That comes from the heart and the soul. And we can't, the inner knowing, we can't look at any other character and judge where their action is coming from, because then we're caught in judgment of the illusion again. We can't do that. We don't have that capability. It's not our function. But the one of us can judge what is needed. That's like saying, I didn't grow up very religious, so I have like faint glimmerings, maybe like put judgment in the hands of God. That's the equivalent of that. So a lot of this religious stuff was pointing us in the right direction, and a lot of it was reflective of our conflict, our attachment to conflict. So you kind of have to like sort the wheat from the chaff. I think that's in the Bible, but that's through feeling. That's done through feeling. I'm going to pause because I have a little visitor here, And I might not need a part two. If I do, I'll record one later. Thanks. Yeah, Christmas lights. Now I gotta find my button.
Turn them on.
Okay, Bunny, we'll turn them on. I don't edit my videos because I don't know how, so you'll just get that snippet.